Hi folks, and welcome back to another fly tying tutorial. The fly you see in the vise is a Viva Booby. So without further ado, let's get into it. The hook in the vise is a Hanak H230 barbless hook. It's at size 10. This one's finished in black nickel and it's on a medium wire. Now the medium wire is going to help us with this particular fly, as it's quite a, I wouldn't say lightweight hook, but it's sturdy enough for the trout I fish for, but light enough to remain quite high in the water. So the thread I'm going to be using today is from Trout line. It's the Sumo thread at 50 denier. As you can see, it's black. And as always, with the black nickel finish, we're going to get a bit of super glue onto the shank of the hook before I lay down a bed of silk. Oops, didn't want to go there. Now, black and green is an excellent colour combination for this time of year. The months of September, early October, it seems to work really well. It also does quite well early season. Now, I'm going to add a little tag, which is flow chartreuse, as I've just been saying. Chartreuse, I always get this wrong. Chartreuse, that's it. When I can't pronounce this, I always think back to what Clint Anderson said to me. If it ain't chartreuse, it ain't no use. So I'm going to take my length of floss and fold it until I get a reasonable tag. Now I'm going to bring my thread up to probably just about 3 or 4 millimeters from the eye of the hook, and I've failed to catch that in properly because I've been a bit tight with my proportions. So don't be as tight as me. Get enough in as is going to do you. Now with tags, sometimes what I usually do to get consistency is I use the bend of the hook here and snip away, but on this particular fly I want it to be slightly longer, usually twice the length of what I would usually make a tag. I'll just use my finger to free that up, and there we go. Now for the rib of this fly, I'm going to use some mirror tinsel. This is at 0.8 millimeters, and I'll just take a little bit, no, not a little bit, I'll take a bit more than I need to make it easier for myself, but usually I'm fairly tight with the materials. I want them to last as long as possible. So I'm going to trap that in there like so. And so this fly, I'm not just, it's no accident that this is, sorry, my rib's just misbehaving there. Try to wrap it around there. It's no accident that I'm tying this fly. So I've got just a couple of more sessions on the lock style before I switch fully over to grayling, which will be happening come October. And I've got a couple of matches, and this is an ideal point fly because it does fit international rules. It's an ideal point fly for a washing line setup. Now I've got some peacock herring here. This stuff's from Trout line. What I like about this particular peacock herring, and you'll see once I get down a layer, I'm going to catch it in just there, and I'm going to take it up the whole body. Yeah, as I was saying, what I like about this particular peacock herring, and I'll be sad to see it go because they're not always the same. Even if I buy another batch from Trout line, I'll probably not get the same. I don't know how well you'll be able to see on the camera, but they're really lovely swords. Lots of fibres in the swords, which is going to give me a nice bushy body. Now if I just catch the ends, so all I've done is I've caught the ends of the peacock herring. Now it's quite a delicate material, so you've got to be very careful to avoid the hook point, and one of the ways you can do that is simply use the rotary function if you have it on the vise, so you can just miss that each time you come by it. Now, as I was saying, about the fibres that are on these swords. You can see as the body's been formed, it's given me quite a nice shape. And I'm going to bring that all the way up. It doesn't need to come to the eye of the hook, because as you've seen from the opening introduction, it is a booby fly, and I need to leave plenty of room at the front to accommodate the booby eyes. So once I've trapped that in, I can just pull the peacock herald away, and as you can see there, I've got a really pleasing body. Now the pearl I've used here, the mirror tinsel, it's quite robust, but what I like to do, just to make it last a little bit longer, because once trout start hitting this fly, the first thing to fail will be the pearl rib. So I'm just going to get a little bit of super glue up the inside of the pearl. Make sure when you do this that you do put the super glue down onto the fly's body and not the other way round, which I have done on more than one occasion, I'm sorry to confess. But I want 3 turns, and then the last turn's going to come in the front here, and I'll just wrap that over. So this time of year the fishing's really starting to come to life again as the water temperatures are cooling. The fish are becoming more active and they're getting ready to bulk up for the winter months. So it's a great time to get out fishing. I do urge you to go and use the large reservoirs and enjoy a good bit of sport. Now, I haven't got a bag for my marabou. I'm running very woefully short of marabou at the minute. I need to get a hold of Dave Downey and pick up some more. But I'm using black marabou. It's just simply marabou dyed black, and I'll take that from the stem. Now there's lots of different ways of fishing boobies, and I should really make a separate video about how to do that. I'm just going to take away this waste here. But one of my favourite ways is fishing with this on the point, or if the fishing's really tough, if the fish have seen a lot of pressure, what they're used to seeing, certainly in big competitions, they're used to seeing teams of flies being wheaked past them at high speed. So what you can do to try something a little bit different is just fish a single fly, and this has got me out of all sorts of trouble in the past, and it does work. So if you just get a single booby on say a 15 to 16 foot leader, fish it on a floating line, an intermediate line, the options are nowadays limitless. There's so many different fly lines. So I've got my pre-made booby eyes, the TicToc. If you've followed the channel for some time, you'll know how I get to this stage. If you haven't followed the channel and this is the first video you're seeing, I'll stick a little link card up there to show you how I create my booby eyes. So what I'm going to do is line up the pinhole, just check that it's correct. So once I'm happy, I'll get a couple of turns to hold it into place, and then I can come up and get my booby eyes on top. So I'm going to get a couple of turns just to get it into place. I'm trying to keep my fingers out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. I'm looking to get 3 or 4 turns in there, and then in the figure of 8 style I'm going to go back, try and get 3 or 4 turns in the other way. Then I can come round the front and finish the fly. Now you might be thinking, oh, them eyes are a little bit big for this fly, but that is intentional, and the idea is when you're fishing boobies this time of year, the fish are generally in the upper layers of the water, and what I want to do is I want it to create a wake which can attract the fish. Now, another way of fishing it is fish it with this fly on the top dropper with like a couple of cormorants just in behind, so that the fly causes a wake in the surface which brings fish in. They may not always take your fly creating the wake, but they'll often turn and take the flies in behind the booby. So, last thing to finish off, and again, for longevity, what I like to do is get the eyes separated and get quite a generous amount of super glue onto the thread. And I also come in at the bottom and make sure it is well super glued up. Now, this just helps keep the booby eyes in one place. As I say, when the fly does start to get hit, then the rib and the booby eyes are usually the first things to suffer. But there we go. There's our, I suppose it's like a Viva Booby, if you like, old style Viva. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.